Thank you. I know it's getting late in the day, so I'm going to jump right in here. And so a little bit about my background, you've already heard, but just to summarize, so I've been got involved in Bitcoin in 2011. Back then, Bitcoin was, I think, $20. I wish I'd put everything in Bitcoin then. I probably wouldn't be talking to you here today, but built a company in the Bitcoin space, and then 2015 really wanted to focus on how to bridge the gap between blockchain and enterprise. And even today, and we're seeing this a lot in what I call the token economy. A lot of companies launching tokens, launching ICOs, and this token economy, I mean, it's very exciting. It's definitely coming. It's going to transform how we as consumers interact with everyday goods. There will be a token for everything, and everything will be tokenized. But we're not quite there yet. And my focus is how do we start to apply this technology to large enterprise? Large enterprise has benefited from the advent of cloud computing, it's benefited from big data, it's benefited from analytics, and it will benefit from blockchain. And ultimately, from BTL's perspective, where I see the big revenue opportunities, the big opportunities for us to make a big difference in the market is working with those big enterprise clients. So just jumping through the deck here a little bit, and I'm hoping some of you are already familiar a little bit with the BTL story. So we've been around since 2015. I founded the company with my brother, and we were the world's first publicly listed blockchain company, which isn't always a good thing, but it's worked out for us. So it's been very exciting to be at the forefront of this technology, constantly innovating. We have to be very careful to be always driving in the right direction. There hasn't been until recently a lot of peers in the space that we can relate to, that we can compare to. But over the last 2 years, we've been building our foundational technology into Bit and bringing that technology into the types of customers of various enterprises that we want to adopt this technology. And on top of that, I see technologies in these 10-year cycles. So Bitcoin was invented in 2008, and for me, 2018 is a very significant year for blockchain because it's 10 years since the advent of the inception of this technology. Again, if we look at other technologies in the space, if we look at the age of the internet, if we look at the adoption of mobile phones, if we look at the adoption of email versus fax, the trend repeats itself. It takes about 10 years for these technologies to go from inception to adoption in the marketplace for companies to actually adopt this technology. A lot of that is because there's early stage technology and needs testing and these iterations, it needs evolution, and there's a lot of education, a lot of changes needed for companies to start to adopt that technology. So from BTL's perspective, it's really exciting that we spend the last 2 years developing a foundational enterprise-focused blockchain platform, and we're also coming to market, and our first public version of Inhibit is being launched in a matter of months. In a time where we're 10 years since the inception of this technology, companies are now ready to embrace it. And some of you may be familiar, we ran a pilot with Visa early last year, which was focused around applying Interbit to interbank settlements, so working with Visa at 6 of their client banks. We then started applying the technology to the gas trading space. So we ran a pilot last year with 4 gas trading companies. And we're really excited that's now expanded to 9 companies. And we put out an announcement. The project started back in December, and that's an expansion. So we're now going from pilot phase to actually rolling out a production-ready system that can actually be tested with live trades, run alongside these companies' existing processes. And that's now got 9 companies involved. So as well as the existing 4 that we're already working with, Total, Gazprom, Vattenfall, and a number of others are participating in this pilot. I mean, it represents about 60% of the European gas market. And these companies are using our technology, using Interbit, which we own, which has a patent pending, to make their processes, make their systems more efficient. And I don't want to dive too much into use cases, but just to give you an example, looking at this slide, anytime companies need to interact with counterparties and share data, it is much, much more efficient to do it on a blockchain. To pick a number, most of these companies are spending in the range of $20 billion a year on IT. Just to let that sink in, that is a huge amount of money, even for companies this size. And that is down to the inefficiencies in how they keep track of and process their data. And in the same way that analytics and big data allow them to see deeper into how they operate, find those micro efficiencies, blockchain is going to completely change the way that they build their data solutions, build their internal solutions, and how they interact with their counterparties. Remember, all of these companies ultimately compete with each other. They need to be very careful how they share their data, how selective they are. And Indibit is the platform that enables and provides that solution. So on the horizon for BTL, so we're a big focus on enterprise. You know, our revenues, all of the companies that are participating are writing us checks. But ultimately, our goal is enterprise licensing. So the current project that we're doing just in the gas space, if things go well, that will be complete by late summer. And the goal there is then to move that into enterprise license. So the same types of licenses that these companies are paying for SAP, for Oracle, for those types of products, they're going to be paying us for Indibit. Now, on top of that, we're a technology company. We're a blockchain technology company. So what we do in the gas space, and our goal is, you know, use that as a template. So once that's been completed, we can then apply that. Well, firstly, there's other applications within the gas space. And all the participants that we're talking to, we're already discussing, okay, right now we're doing gas trading, but whatever areas of the business can we apply these same efficiencies to? Then there's ancillary businesses, so the oil space, the metal space. And then we start to look outside of the oil and gas market. So there's discussions we have in the finance space. Obviously, you guys are familiar with the project we did with Visa. In the mining space, in the healthcare space. I enjoyed the panel earlier about healthcare and some of the pharmaceutical companies. And all I was thinking was all of the ways that blockchain technology could apply to their businesses and make them more efficient. So there's a huge number of areas that we can apply our technology to. And our goal at the foundational technology layer is to demonstrate to these companies how much value, how much cost saving they're going to be able to get out of using Indibit as a foundational technology in their enterprise, and then seed that in a number of different industries. So oil and gas is our first industry, but we're already teeing up for a number of other industries. And then finally, our partnership program, we actually announced today, or it was announced, a partnership with Venzi. So there's two kind of strategies that we have at the moment. One, and our big revenue items are going to come from our relationships with the big corporate companies, but we also want to see growing adoption of Indibit. There's a lot of companies coming out saying, look, we're building out a new platform, we have a new idea, we really want to use Indibit. You know, we've looked at all the platforms out there, and Indibit is our platform of choice that we want to build out on, but we're not at a stage yet where we can pay enterprise licenses. Excuse me. So with those companies, and Venzi is the first one that's gone through our partnership program, we are working directly with those companies to help them use Indibit as a foundational technology as they build out and grow their products. And that's something that, again, we'll start to see some more announcements as the year progresses on other companies that we're starting to work with. So from my standpoint, you know, I'm incredibly excited about 2018 for the year, both for BTL and for blockchain. There's a big inception point. You know, I don't read too much into all of the ICOs and the tokenization that's going on. I think that's something that's going to become much more relevant in 5–10 years' time. But this is the year when large enterprises will be rolling out blockchain-based applications in their live environments. And my honest opinion is that there's a huge underestimation of how much the cost savings is going to be. Ultimately, that still needs to be demonstrated, that still needs to be proved in the industry. But the efficiencies that we're able to gain with blockchain, even at a starting point, are enormous. And there's no company out there, I have yet to sit down with a CIO of one of these big companies who tells me that they're happy with their IT budget. So I'm Halford-Thompson from BTL. We're a venture-listed company. The ticker is BTL. We're happy to be and very proud to be the first, or the world's first, publicly listed blockchain company, and for a long time the only blockchain company on the venture. We've obviously been joined by a lot of the peers now, but feel free to reach out to myself at any time if you have any questions. And it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you guys today. Thank you very much.